Hello, kindergarten. So, starting tomorrow, we are going to begin a new unit. We are all finished with weather and seasons, and next, we are going to start learning about a man named Eric Carle. All right, here's a picture on your screen. This is Eric Carle. Now, you probably don't recognize him, but Eric Carle has illustrated more than 70 books. Okay, do you guys know what an illustrator does? An illustrator is the person who draws or colors or creates the pictures of books. All right. So Eric Carle has done the pictures of over 70 books. And you know what? He's actually wrote a lot of books too. He's written the words. All right. So we're going to learn a little bit about Eric Carle today so that when we start reading some of his books tomorrow, you're going to know who he is. So he was born in New York. All right. Some of you might have a connection. I've been to New York, but I've never been to Syracuse, New York. And that's where he was born. So he was born in 1929, which means he is 91 years old. Oh my goodness. When he was little, when he was your age, his family moved to Germany. And you can see on this map right here, New York is here. He moved all the way across the ocean to that red dot. Okay. And when he was older, when he was out of college, when he was 20 some years old, he moved back to America. And you know how much money he had in his pocket? He only had $46. Now, that is not a lot of money back then, and that wasn't really a lot of money right now, especially to be able to buy things. All right, you might recognize some of these books on this page. He has drawn the pictures to these two books, okay? The most popular one, which I know I read to my boys, and maybe your mom and dad have read it to you, is called Brown Bear, Brown Bear. What do you see? So his friend, Bill Martin Jr., called him up and said, hey, I want you to draw the pictures for this book, okay? And he did. And then from there, he was inspired. He loved it so much, and he wanted to make his own book. So he did, and it was called 1, 2, 3, The Zoo. And you know what? We have all of these books in our classroom, and I'm going to be reading so many of them to you. So if you've never read an Eric Carle book, get ready, because you're going to get ready to hear and read a lot of them. All right. So a lot of people can recognize Eric Carle's books right away because he uses a collage technique. Okay. I'm going to say that again. He uses a collage technique. Okay. I want you to think about what would that mean? A collage technique. All right. Here are some of the pictures that he's done a collage technique on. Okay. And it's when he kind of puts layers of paper over each other and collects them all together. You can see on this caterpillar, he used blues and greens and yellows, and he kind of overlapped them. All right. And this caterpillar, you may recognize this from one of his most famous books besides Brown Bear, Brown Bear. And that's the Very Hungry Caterpillar. All right. He uses hand painted paper. Okay. And he cuts them and he layers them to make images or pictures. So when he made that caterpillar, he painted on green, he painted on yellow, and then he layered them on top of each other. All right. So here he is. You'll get a chance later this week to hear him reading one of his most popular books, The Very Hungry Caterpillar. And every week he gets hundreds of letters from people who love his story, from kids. All right, let's keep going. So about him now, he's a grown-up, and he actually has 2 kids himself, and he has a wife named Barbara, and he has 2 houses. One of them is in Florida. Probably he must really like the nice hot weather. And the other one is in North Carolina. Maybe you have a connection. Maybe you've been to one of those states before. All right. So something that Eric wants us to know about him is when he makes his books, when he writes the words and he illustrates, he doesn't always write with a lesson in mind. He's not always trying to teach us something, which is kind of weird. A lot of books that we've read are trying to teach us something. He gets most of his ideas from nature, which is the world, the earth, animals. And when he writes, he wants children to learn things from his books. And his books are kind of fiction and nonfiction. Okay, like The Very Hungry Caterpillar. That's fiction. They're not real pictures of caterpillars, but we still learn about caterpillars in his book. So that's why it's a nonfiction part of it too. All right, and here he is in his art studio. He has an art studio, and there he is doing his painting. That's why you may have noticed you guys all got to take home a set of paint yourself, because we are going to be doing some painting, because we are going to try and be just like Eric Carle, an illustrator, and paint just like he did. All right. So thanks for listening to Eric Carle, or me teach you about Eric Carle. If you've read one of his books before, why don't you go ahead and send me a video and tell me about one of the books you've read of his before. And if not, don't worry, because we are going to read lots of them. All right. So thanks for listening. Have a great day.